Is embalming bad for the environment? We're going to talk about this. And I already know that so many people are not going to like what I have to say. I want to be very clear. This is a very unbiased educational video. I don't want you to think just because I'm a funeral director and embalmer that that's why I'm saying this, or that I'm anti-environment or something. I love our environment.
Okay, at the end of this video, she says she wants people to fact check her, so here we go. So this woman is a funeral director, and she's trying to make the case that formaldehyde, which is used in a lot of embalming fluids, is not a hazard to the environment. Okay, so here we have the CDC's article on formaldehyde. It says, formaldehyde is a colorless, highly toxic, flammable gas at room temperature, and also says formaldehyde is used in many industries. Workers may be harmed by exposure to formaldehyde. The same article also says morticians are one of the examples of workers at risk of being exposed to formaldehyde. Now let's head over to the New York Times. They say, the Green Burial Council steps for minimizing negative environmental effects include foregoing embalming, and then a lot of other things. On the Green Burial Council's website, they say, the real risk to embalmers and funeral directors when it comes to, inhaling formaldehyde, basically, is a 13% higher death rate for embalmers, partially because of an 8 times higher risk of contracting leukemia and a 3 times higher risk of contracting ALS and other autoimmune and neurological diseases. So there's not a lot of studies that can conclusively say whether or not the groundwater thing is a real problem. I've heard from other people that I've done work with, but who have also been funeral directors, that there is the risk of the groundwater thing is a little bit overblown. What the woman says in this video is that formaldehyde basically just breaks down and goes away once it's exposed to air. So here's what I was able to find. This is a laboratory study of the pollution of formaldehyde in cemeteries. This is from South Africa in 2018. So that funeral director's main argument was that formaldehyde breaks down into innocuous compounds and therefore is not toxic from an environmental standpoint. So here's what the article says. Although it's maintained that formaldehyde breaks down into innocuous compounds, this has not been established at sites such as cemeteries where there is a continuous addition of formaldehyde-preserved bodies, sometimes on a daily basis. So they did a study. This is a lab study of the leaching potential of formaldehyde through different soils and environmental conditions. The results showed that most formaldehyde percolated through the soil between week 6 and week 14, with a greater amount being leached from sand, although only 3% of the initial amount of formaldehyde mobilized. There were 2 occasions where concentrations of up to 15 milligrams per liter were recorded, exceeding the tolerable concentration recommended by the World Health Organization. So the summary is that there's more conclusive evidence to suggest that embalming is mainly a risk to the embalmers themselves rather than the general public because of formaldehyde getting into the groundwater. But my general stance and what I advise people to do is that if you can avoid putting more carcinogenic chemicals into the world being used in general, try to do that if you can. All that being said, even though it's not great for the environment or the people who are doing the embalming, there's still people who benefit from embalming because, say, their person died from a traumatic death like a car crash and the family or the community still wants to do a viewing.